Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph, here with Zach. How's it going today?
Hey man, things are good. How are you?
Doing all right, cannot complain. We got a lot to talk about today, specifically with the AFC East. So we'll go into that. And then we got some breaking news that just happened literally like 20 minutes ago where Hassan Reddick is getting traded to the Jets for a third round pick, a conditional third round pick, that is. So trying to figure out what the details are on that trade. I thought the Eagles were looking for a first for Hassan Reddick, but it looks like they settled
hmm
for a third round. I think his contract situation really kind of messed with their value in terms of getting something good from him because the team has to pay him. And the Jets, I don't think I don't think their line needed another pass rusher, but I would say that having Hassan Reddick is not a bad is not a bad deal. So we got four teams to talk about today. We got the AFC East, we got the Bills, Dolphins, and the Jets, as well as the
Can I speak on the Reddick trade real quick?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just quick. I think we're seeing uh teams are worried about overpaying. Again, I think it goes back to the Bears Panthers trade from last year. I think Chiefs fell into this trap. Not really trap, excuse me. But Chiefs fell into the situation where they were looking for maybe a second, late first, second for Snead, but ended up, getting I think they settled on like a 6-7 swap and like a conditional pick later.
Yeah.
Um, and then Hassan Reddick, you know, the same thing you said about Hassan Reddick. You're seeing teams don't really want to overpay, um, and teams that need to get rid of players are trying to just get what they can and try to build rosters
Well, yeah,
prior to this for the draft. So
yeah,
it's just cool seeing that happen.
yeah. And I don't think the Eagles are lacking pass rushers. That's a position where they're not really lacking because they literally draft two of them, three of them. It feels like every single year in the draft. Like they have, obviously Jordan Davis isn't really a pass rusher; he's more of a run stopper. But they have guys that they've drafted before in the past from Georgia. I think N'Kobe Dean, obviously he's not a pass rusher, but he's gonna be a guy that is gonna be able
Nolan
to.
Smith,
Nolan Smith, yeah,
right?
thank you for
Yeah,
saying that. I couldn't think of the other Georgia name. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I think this is a good pickup for both teams. I mean,
they
the
didn't
young
just
people get
draft
to,
the first. We're gonna get on the Jets in a little
yeah,
bit later, so I'll hold my thought.
yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Like we said, the breakdown's the same as the last time. We're kind of just gonna go over each team, going over each situation with their first two picks, and kind of go from there. Let's start with the Bills. So the Bills kind of really weird off season, and before we get to the off season, they had a really weird season. They started off slow, then they went strong, then they kind of started off a little slow again, and then they finished the year off strong and they won the AFC East. Ultimately losing to the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round, in KC. And oh, actually, no, it was in Buffalo. I'm sorry, it was in Buffalo. My bad.
Mhm.
So there, we have a couple of things to talk about with with the Bills, just to kind of get things off the bat. They lost a lot. Well, they didn't lose. They didn't bring back a lot of people. Gabe Davis, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Von Miller had to restructure his contract. So there's a lot of missing pieces on defensive end. And I see a lot of mock drafts having them go with a receiver first round, which I'm personally not a fan of. They have Curtis Samuel that they just picked up, and they
Yeah,
could
good
potentially
point.
trade for a receiver. T. Higgins is still available and whatnot. So and then they have Khalil Shakir who's coming off his best season, and he kind of rose during the playoffs and later on in the season. And then obviously they have Diggs, and they drafted a pass catcher last year in the draft, which is Kincaid. I'll start with you here. What do you think they should do at this pick, number 28, and then they have number 60 with their second pick?
Yeah, I think great question, right? Um, I think we differ about our opinions on what the Buffalo Bills are and can be. Like I'm on the camp where I think they are a Super Bowl contending team just because they have Josh Allen, uh, and if they put together any type of defense, I think they'll be totally fine. Um,
Yeah.
it's going to look a lot different. That's what people are thinking, but for me, I think it's going to look exactly the same because these players that they released, Poyer, White, amongst others, they weren't even there. They kept getting hurt anyway. So in the playoffs, they're used to running without him. So I will say something that would worry me is if they ended up getting some type of pass rush, because uh, the Chiefs tackles we talked about in previous, like that's the weakness of the O line at least. So
Yeah.
I would look for them to go pass rush to try to help, because right now it's they have a couple guys, but I feel like that's the opportunity for them.
Yeah, and I think the pass rushing would probably be a good point. I have them going with a cornerback actually, and then
Sure.
having a guy that could be a guy that can move around in the cornerback. So I have them getting a couple guys, well, a couple guys that they could target. One of them being Lassitier out of Georgia, who played
Mm-hmm.
a lot of obviously outside corner, but he also played in the nickel position as well while he was at Georgia. So I think he's a guy that can be extremely versatile, where he can move around in that Buffalo defense and maybe be a guy like I'm not obviously Kyle Hamilton is in his land of his own in terms of being a hybrid safety, but he could be someone like that in terms of just being a guy that can be involved in the pass game where he can kind of break up a lot of plays no matter who he's guarding, whether it be a tight end, whether it be a receiver, slot, whatever the case may be. He's pretty versatile, so I like him. I like his size. Um, I would love to hear about what you think in terms of players in this draft because I mean, just looking at the top 300 list on PFF, I think I got this from you actually, but I'm looking at some just this guy in that in that range defensively, not really
Mm-hmm.
offense, but I'm looking at some guys like Kool-Aid McKendry, TJ Tampa, who's also a guy who can get physical, and then Chris Braswell, who's the only guy on this kind of list where they could potentially reach for and get a pass rusher. There's also Peyton Wilson out of NC State. He led the league and led the NCAA in tackles. I think Peyton Wilson is one of those guys where he does fit that blue collar Bills. Just looking at his name, but I don't know if he'd be available at that time. But um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think at the second round pick, they could potentially draft a receiver, or maybe get someone from the interior to replace what they're missing.
Yeah, names. I'm just hope. I think the Bills are hoping that whoever falls to them is there, whether it's corner or uh, pass rush, and they might trade up and go get a guy because I don't. Well, or maybe trade back because they lost a lot of people. I don't know,
Well, I
but
mean, they
pass
have
rush.
11. So Bills have 11 picks, so I don't think they're
They're
gonna.
all later though, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Am I
saying
missing?
they're not
But
gonna
yeah,
trade the picks to get more picks.
so they'll
They
use
have
those
plenty.
to trade up or something. But to
Yeah,
get a guy like if I don't know who's I don't think who would fall. Let's say Nate Wiggins is falling, right?
yeah.
And you said, hey, they need a corner. I can see them try to trade up to see if they can, get that guy. If they really like him on the board. I don't know the draft board, but something like that.
Yeah, and I think in that 60th pick, this is where they can kind of make their money at and get some guys that can kind of be the foundational pieces. So a couple
So
guys I
next
have,
team,
yeah, exactly,
yeah,
yeah. Chris Jenkins is one guy. Obviously they have. Do they still? Oh wait, I think they lost Purcell. I think they lost Purcell actually. I'm thinking about yeah, they lost him 2 offseasons ago. But they have Jordan Phillips. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. Jordan Phillips, who's been kind of inconsistent in terms of his playing. So they need someone that can replace him. But I think I just don't want them, and I just don't think they should target receivers if they are going to target receivers maybe later on in the round. I just don't think that they need it. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they need receiver depth? I don't think receivers
the
was
offense last year didn't seem like they cared about like
passing
passing
the
the
ball too
ball too
much.
much.
Yeah,
They were trying to run the ball,
it was
play
more run
defense.
first. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
think I think their biggest thing is Josh Allen needs to learn how to be a game manager. He needs to learn how to just have the time of
Josh,
possession.
see, this is where we differ because I think Josh Allen, if he doesn't run up against Patrick Mahomes, I think he'll be fine.
I don't think that's the case because we've seen him lose to Joe Burrow in the playoffs at home.
Yeah, but that
So,
was under like, they had a player die on the field. So I mean, I
uh,
like that.
okay.
No, I'm just saying the season, like it went. It was a weird because you had players in the locker. It split the locker room. You had players that um, were super emotional, and rightfully so, and didn't want to continue. But you had other guys on the team who was like, dude, we need to just go out there and play. We know what happened, and I don't think they ever bounced back from that. Which is, I mean, it's whatever to me.
I just
I
don't think.
think
I just
I
don't
gotta
think.
accept some stuff happens.
I just don't think the Bills can make it to. I mean, and this is like where we differ. I just don't think that Josh Allen is going to be the guy that leads them all the way to Super Bowl. I just don't. I just don't think he's that guy. I think he is not a
Well, I mean,
responsible
that's not
quarterback. I just don't think
you're
he is.
like you're acting like you're going out on a limb. Only
I'm
one
not.
team can win a Super Bowl.
I'm
Only
not.
two teams can play.
What do you
One
mean
team from
going
the
out on
AFC
a
can
limb?
make it. One team can win. So you have one in technically 32 chances to win. So you saying 31 other guys, can't or like I go out on a limb and say Mahomes is going to win. That's more of a opinion that matters in my opinion than saying Zach Wilson won't win type deal. It's like no crap, Sherlock. Like there's more
Yeah,
teams
no
that
one's
aren't going to
going.
win. There are teams that are.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
I mean,
that.
okay, like who are you comparing him to? Like Josh.
Well,
Like
it's not me.
you're
It's not
comparing him.
me. It's not me.
You're
It's you guys.
you're
I
saying
don't think Josh Allen
you're
is the top
saying Josh
quarterback.
can't. You're saying
I
Josh
just don't
can't.
think.
Who can? Oh, I'm asking who can in the AFC can make Super Bowl over Josh? I'll
I
wait.
mean, we just saw Joe Burrow do it
Okay, so Burrow and
3 years ago.
Mahomes.
So we've seen those are the. I mean, I guess the only quarterbacks who have done it since Mahomes. But I don't think that we should. I mean, Mahomes is not God. He just. I mean, he can be beat. He is beatable. We've seen him get beat in the playoffs. So I mean, I'm just saying if for them to do that, Josh Allen needs to learn how to control the time of possession because he doesn't know how to do that. And that's just is what it is. Like
So
even
you're
last year,
so you're so your
they
answer
were
is
in the
still you're
driver's seat. If you let me
so who's
finish, if
going
you let me finish, I can talk.
no, I need no because you're not answering.
No,
A
if you let me
list of
finish, I
quarterbacks,
will
one through
answer. If you
who's going
let
to
me
be in,
finish,
who
I
has the
will
best
answer.
chance of going to the Super Bowl? That's what we want to know.
No, because you're not letting me answer my question. You're trying to cut me short so you can prove your point, which is I don't care. I'm saying this: Josh Allen was in the driver's seat to win to win that AFC Championship game. I mean, the divisional round against the Chiefs. All he had to do was keep on milking the clock, getting those first downs like he was doing on that final drive. But what did he do? He wanted to take a deep throw and just get a touchdown and not have to drain out the clock or not have to manage the game. He just wanted to get the drive over with. And what ended up happening? Incompletion, another incompletion, and then they
If he
had to kick
throws a
a field
touchdown,
goal.
it doesn't mean anything, right?
What are you talking?
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about being a game manager.
What are we talking about? If the guy throws a touchdown, we're not talking about
Yeah, but
this.
he didn't throw a touchdown though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay. And that's okay. Again, I'm gonna ask. List them out. Who has a chance to make the Super Bowl next year in the AFC?
I mean, everybody does. 16 teams
Give
do.
me a list. Give me a list in order.
16 teams have a. The Texans
One through
do.
six, one
The
through
Texans
16.
have a
So
chance.
you rank Stroud. You say Stroud has a better chance to get in the Super Bowl than
I
Josh
would.
Allen. This is the game we're playing right now.
I would trust Stroud over Josh Allen. Yes, I would.
Okay, and who
Make the
else?
Super Bowl. I trust Lamar Jackson. I trust Joe
Okay,
Burrow. I would trust Aaron Rodgers. I would trust. Let me think. Let me think some more. I would trust.
exactly.
No, I'm
You're
still
just making
thinking. I
up names
mean,
at this point.
no, I'm not. You're. I would just Justin
C.J.
Herbert. I
Stroud has
trust the
won one
Chargers.
playoff game in his career. Lamar Jackson has won what 3 playoff games in his career, and he's awful in the championship games.
I just
Um,
don't understand what you're saying. You're saying that there's no point of there's no point of saying that Josh Allen needs to improve because he's never going to beat Mahomes. That's
the
literally what you're
criticism,
saying.
well, that's every quarterback. Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, like all these guys that we can name.
Well,
What I'm saying is
you gotta
Josh
take
Allen
your
has just as good
in order
enough
for
chance
us
to
to
make it
have
than all those
well,
other guys.
we're just gonna cut this conversation short because you're biased towards Mahomes and it's showing here. Like you think Mahomes is like the most like he's like Thanos from Avengers. Like he can be beaten.
I mean, the
And
guy,
for us to have
one
a
of the losses, keep this in mind, one of the losses that you're counting for Josh Allen, he scored and left. He did what you wanted. Game manager, he left 13 seconds on the clock. And the guy who I think is Thanos, the guy who I think is untouchable, brought the team back in 13 seconds. Keep that in mind. Like that's one of the losses that you're
okay,
attributing to somebody who can't be a game
okay.
manager. It's
Okay,
like, dude,
but
you're just making up stuff at this point to try to help your argument. At the end of the day, the Bills have a better chance than who all the names you listed. Like
I
it's
don't think
true.
they do.
Joe, he okay. First of all, I can pick this apart extremely easy. Lamar Jackson, the guy can't win big games. We've seen it. He can't throw it. And like he thinks that he could throw it. And then what does he do? Go out there and he lays an egg because he can't throw it. He's a runner. Run it, and then maybe we can talk. But until he decides that he wants to embrace all I can do is run, then there you go. The next one, who you say? Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow can't even stay healthy. He's been hurt more times than he's been healthy. So we don't even know if he's going to be out there. Josh Allen's there every game. Josh Allen's there every game. Josh Allen don't miss games. CJ Stroud had one good year. He had one good year, and you're saying one good year. You're taking one good year of work over, how many years Josh Allen's been doing it? 5, 6, 7. Like it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go to the next team.
All right, let's do it.
I think we're just wasting time here. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Dolphins. The Dolphins they have the 21st pick. And that's about it. I don't think they have any other picks besides that in the first 2 rounds, as I'm seeing. But they lost Christian Wilkins. They lost Robert Hunt. They lost Andrew Van Ginkel. They lost Xavier Howard. Jerome Baker. Their defense is just depleted. And then to put this cherry on top, they lost their defensive coordinator. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Miami that I think a lot of people aren't talking about. To me, honestly, I think their defense is going to have a lot of voids in it. Now, obviously, when you have a guy like Jalen Ramsey, when you have a guy like their safety, I forget his name, from Oregon. What's his name? Help me out here.
Holland.
Huh?
Holland.
Yeah, Holland. Yeah, Javon Holland. When you have guys like that, you're not really worried about your pass defense. But when you lose a guy like Christian Wilkins, who honestly is probably one of the best pass rushers interior in the league, obviously there's people in front of him, but he's one of the best up there. It leaves a void. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think they should do with this pick? I got a couple ideas. I think that Tavondre Sweat will be available out of Texas. And I think that's a pick that they should do to replace Christian Wilkins. He's more of a run stopper than a pass stopper. But I would say that is a void that they can do. Mike McDaniel was at Texas Pro Day, and he was like in all of Xavier Worthy's speed, and he was talking to him.
He was.
So I think
he was.
And we know how much Mike McDaniel loves his speed, so they could get Xavier Worthy. What do you think they do with this 21st pick?
Yeah, I think looking at some of the team needs based off PFF, they have tight end, offensive line, defensive line. So I think if you align that, there's not a tight end in this group that of players that looks like might be available to them without reaching. There's a defensive line candidate here, Newton out of Illinois. Not familiar with him, not gonna lie, but he's eighth best player available based off PFF rankings. So that'd be great value if you get him at the 21st pick, and it fits one of their needs. Other than that, you also have guys like Mims from Georgia, tackle, and that could help secure offensive line because Tua, he is a lawn chair and he will fall very easily.
Yeah, I mean, Tua is supposed to get an extension. It's been reported. Him and Jared Goff, I think they're both waiting for each other.
I feel really bad for that.
Decision. You got to pay him. They didn't give him his fifth year option, so they got to do.
I'd trade him.
You would?
That's if I was Dolphins, I'd bring Tua in and say, "Look, we appreciate it. We just don't feel comfortable with your help."
Okay, what would you take for him?
And we're gonna find somebody who could. The Vikings have a couple first-round picks right now. I'd try to do that.
2 firsts for Tua.
I would try it. I'm going to be really greedy right now. I'm going to see what I can get. I mean, if you ask, I'm sure Tua, he's already a part of that McVay Shanahan family, being being a McDaniel system. So that, and then the defense coordinator, what's his name? Flores. He was over with Miami, and then he went to the Rams. So they gave him some type of little info on him, at least the negative parts of it. So just saying, man, it kind of, that's what I would try to do. I'd try to move up to it and then try to find my replacement because there's supposed to be all these great quarterbacks in this draft. And looking at it for the next few years, I don't. Next year, I don't. Do you know anybody? I'm not a fan of the Penn State kid. But
I mean, there's Drew Aller, from Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State.
Quincy Errors.
Not a fan.
There is obviously Shador Sanders. I'm
I
a
won't say
fan,
nothing. He's a brother. So,
but
well, yeah. So it's like
yeah,
the
I
chance
mean,
you're up there to draft him is going to be slim.
I don't think they're
So I would
gonna.
try to do it. I
Yeah,
try to make the move now.
I don't think it's gonna.
The
I don't
play.
think it's a possibility for them. I think they're. I think Mike
Well, the
McDaniel
question
really
lies:
likes Tua, and
when is the pressure going to be put on the Dolphins?
I mean, to make. I think. I think. I mean,
They're 0-2. Mike McDaniels is 0-2 in the playoffs.
yeah, but he's two. He's 2 for 2 getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, so I'm saying, when's the
Before,
pressure? You're
before,
hating on Josh.
before.
You're hating on Josh Allen. You really just hate on Josh Allen. Now
Well,
it's
no, because Tua is
I don't
not
care.
okay. No, because Tua is not
They're
seen as
gonna
a
pay
top.
him
Tua is not seen
once
as
he
a.
gets.
Can I get a word in? Tua is not seen as a top 5 quarterback. Josh Allen is seen as a
He's
top
gonna
5.
get top 5 quarterback money,
Tua is not
and
gonna
that's
get.
going to.
Tua is not gonna get
What do you
top
think he's
5
gonna get?
quarterback money. He's probably
What's
gonna
gonna get?
get. He's probably gonna get. I would guesstimate somewhere around
Be careful. Be careful.
the probably I would say
He's
what's
he's Daniel Jones.
I probably say Daniel Jones between Daniel Jones
Come on.
and Justin Herbert in between those two numbers. I would say that.
Yeah, isn't that top 5
Daniel
in
Jones
money?
is not top 5 quarterback.
Let's look it up. Oh, I know for a fact he's not. We're just talking about the contract value. If Daniel Jones getting paid half of what he's getting paid, there's no fussing, no crying, no nothing. The fact that he's getting paid like a top quarterback is the reason that he's getting all this criticism, and the Giants are looking to move off of him. Like that's the problem. And I'm saying, if you're the Dolphins, if you sign Tua to one of those deals, you're, in my opinion, setting your franchise back because he's not going to be able to live up to it.
So what do? You just what, get rid of him and then go draft a rookie and then
That's
try
what
to do with a
yeah.
rookie? That doesn't
I
make
do
any
it again.
sense. That makes no sense.
Well, if you look at
And then you're in the same issue 3 years later, and then you want to get rid of the quarterback.
if you're looking at where the dude came from, McDaniels, San Francisco is doing completely fine with who? Brock Purdy. Are they not?
That's a different situation.
It's
Totally
pretty
different
similar.
situation.
Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, Waddle, CMC, A Chain. Like it's pretty darn similar. They got a whole bunch of monsters lining up, suiting up in the teal and white. And Tua's been doing really well with them. I love it. Doing great. But we're talking about projecting. I don't project them to be like a deep playoff team. Their ceiling is one playoff win. And then you got to say who's your backup because you don't know Tua's going to be there.
Yeah, but okay. So for the draft in particular, let's get back to the draft because this is the draft.
Let's do it.
What do you think they should? I mean, because like they just, I mean, Tua.
I said
Obviously,
it.
Tua's
Pass
gonna be
rush.
their quarterback, right?
Interior
So
line.
their biggest thing is, yeah, like you said, we're both saying the same thing. They should target pass rushing. Obviously, different people, but I think that's gonna be the biggest thing for them. I don't think they should. I don't think they're gonna. I think Mike McDaniel might want to get Xavier Worthy, but I don't think they're gonna draft him, even if he's there. Just because like I mean, they have Waddle, they have Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson. They have enough speed at the receiver rank, and then obviously the running backs
Yeah,
are
Worthy
fast.
makes no sense.
Yeah,
Unless he's like there in the second or third, whatever, it's like, oh, this is too great a value.
yeah,
But going for the first,
yeah. I
that'll
don't
be a
think it's gonna
huge
happen.
judgment.
All right, let's get into the Jets because the Jets have the top 10 pick here. I think this might be fun for us in terms of what they can go with. There's a lot of options here. So obviously they got Tyron Smith in the offseason. They got Mike Williams in the offseason. And to kind of beef up that O-line or in the offense. It's not reported whether or not Mike Williams will be ready in time for the season or not, but either there, it doesn't really matter. I think that this number 10 pick is perfect for them. I think the winner is Brock Bowers personally. I mean, I
Hey,
just
that's
don't
what
think that they need another position besides this. They have beefed up on the offensive line. There's plenty of offensive line later rounds you can go with, especially at a premium position. And then you can find guards in the 4th and 5th round if they need guards and whatnot. I just think that Brock Bowers will be available at this point. I don't think anyone else is going to draft him. And I think that this is one of those times where you just got to go with your gut here and just get the best player available. And I think it's going to be Brock Bowers. Now, what do you think? You think Brock Bowers as well?
Yeah, so I was going best player available. I think their roster And I honestly, like, I wouldn't even put quarterback out the window if it's the best player on my draft board, just
Yeah,
because Aaron Rodgers' age, not because I think this guy's going to play.
yeah.
But if there's a quarterback that falls and he's sitting there, I think you do have to have the conversation in the room about, hey, last year, it was pretty ugly. A lot of the games without Aaron Rodgers, and this is somebody who can learn and hopefully get developed under this guy, and this will set our franchise up for the next few years. If quarterback's way down the draft board, I wouldn't trade up for it at all. But best player available. So if Bowers is the guy there and he's the highest on your draft board, I think you run up and take him. And I think it's going to really, really help out the pass game because you're going to have him, Wilson, Mike Williams is a deep, deep threat for the 2 games a year he plays, and then they got the offensive line. If that's the highest on your draft board, I take that as well because you have Tyron Smith who only plays 5 games a year too. So it's just best player available.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, especially with Mike Williams and Tyron Smith being very limited throughout the season, and being up in the air in terms of their health. I think one of the things that we should see out of this draft is that the Jets are not going to have any excuses in terms of how many pieces they have around them, because that was a big thing last year. Their offensive line wasn't good. Well, what did you guys address that in the free agency? You can also address it now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, or we didn't have a good tight end. Well, you guys can address that in the draft. So there shouldn't be any type of excuses that happen from them. I don't think. I think that this is one of those things where one of those drafts where they should be able to kind of find some players to kind of map it out. But yeah, number 10 pick. So I think we're both saying Brock Bowers, but we wouldn't be surprised if they draft the offensive line. There's plenty of those like Fushanu, can't say his name, from Penn State, but that guy's available. I know that. And then obviously, tackles are going to be a galore this draft. All right. Let's get to the Patriots because they have their 2 picks. Number 3 pick overall, and they have the 35th pick overall in the draft. This may be a debate right here that we have because I think you may have something different. Personally, I don't know if there's been reports of them being open to trading back their pick, like them bringing in Jacoby Brissett or even Bailey Zappi to be their quarterback, and then them using this pick and then trading back or falling back a couple of picks to recoup a first pick next year or whatever the case may be. So there are talks of them doing that. I'm just talking as if they keep this pick. I would go with no other than JJ McCarthy if he's available at the board. And I think JJ McCarthy would be perfect for this team. I think he'd be a guy that could go in there and lead the locker room, and he could be a guy that could be a lead on a team that is going to be a run first team, because this is a run first offense. I don't think it's never not going to be a run first offense in this Patriots system. I think they need somebody that can construct some type of flow with it. Obviously, Drake may be there, and you may have to go with Drake May if he's there, and McCarthy gets picked up. I just don't think that. I don't think that between the two, I think there's going to be 2 quarterbacks that they're going to choose from, either McCarthy or Drake May, depending on which one the Commanders choose from. So, and then with that 35th pick, I have them going with the receiver, getting Torrey Franklin or even Ladd McConkey, depending on where they're at.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the New England Patriots, I think it depends on their timeline. Like, I really think they have to understand what is our plan here. Like, what is our season going to look like? Projecting. I mean, obviously they would want to go 17-0 in a perfect world, right? But I think understanding realistic expectations was super important. And given that if you draft a quarterback here, I think you start kind of the clock on what he's capable to do and the leadership role he could take with the team. And if you want to take McCarthy, I think my feelings have already been addressed with that. But knowing that he's not going to win right away, you're already taking away a year. So you're just hoping that this year is going to be for development. And then next year, try to find them pieces. I honestly don't think a quarterback here makes the most sense when there's players that are going to be higher rated on your draft board, knowing that you're not going to be competing for the next 2, 3 years. I understand the NFL can flip really quickly. We've seen that many times over. But with this team specific, with the division they're up against, I don't think they're a quarterback away from winning a lot of games. I
Let me
don't
ask you
think they
this.
take
Let me
much.
ask you this.
Go ahead.
What if they made a Texans jump? Like no one thought the Texans were going to be good this year. No one thought they were going to make it to the second round of
Yeah,
the playoffs.
yeah,
What quarterback do
be
you think?
included.
What quarterback do you think could lead them to that out of the quarterback all available in this draft? Obviously, Caleb Williams is off the board, so he's not in there. But
I think
out of the quarterbacks that we have,
being respectful to everyone involved with that situation, like I was totally wrong with thinking that they were going to be down. The thing I didn't take into account was the division. I thought the Jaguars would be a lot better than what they were. I thought the Colts would be a little better than what they were. Like, so that was my thinking and thinking the Texans were going to be on the bottom of the rankings. The division did not play out how I anticipated, and that's why I think you see a bulk of the success that the Jags have. Now, in saying that, do I think the AFC East could do something like that? I think there's no chance in heck that the Dolphins aren't the Dolphins, a 10-win team, whoever they line up the quarterback, whether it's Tua or some scrub I never heard of. Um, Josh Allen, the Bills, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers if he's healthy. Like I honestly I don't see that happening. Um, my goodness, if you're hoping for a lot of things to break your way if you're the Patriots and you think any of these guys can be CJ Stroud and the division falls apart the way you needed to take that leap. Tell me I'm crazy.
I mean, I don't think NFL GMs think like that, or even the coaches think like that. I think that they think that hey, if you put 17 games on the schedule, I'm gonna have a chance to win every game. I mean, NFL GMs don't go in there thinking, oh, let's just rebuild for this year and let's try to win 4 games. Like that's not their thinking
Well,
process,
I
and I
think
don't think
there's
that's a
a
culture that the Patriots have. Have
I
have
think
they
like
have
the
they?
can I speak? Because I want to correct you. I think Shanahan and Lynch when they went to the Niners, I don't think their first. I could be wrong here. You can fact check me if you want, but off memory, I don't think they went in there saying let's get a quarterback at all costs. They built the entire roster on the outside, and then they were like, okay, now that we have a quarterback, we actually they didn't have a quarterback, and then the whole Jimmy G thing happened. And they're like, dude, let's do it. Second round pick, and you saw them get to the Super Bowls and stuff. They didn't win it, I understand, but they got there, and they're always in the playoff hunt because their roster is so strong. Teams like the Eagles, strong rosters. Like, I think I would try to build my team something like one of those. Versus, I mean, even the Texans this year, like you're going to see they added a bunch of players to their roster, try to say, hey, we caught lightning in a bottle. Let's run with this type deal.
Well,
So
yeah. I
if
mean, even
you
to your
got
point, the Patriots, the Patriots before, obviously, now during
because otherwise you're going to be the Jets,
those Tom Brady eras,
who you take Zach Wilson when your team's not ready and then he looks bad, or you take Sam Darnold, who your team's not ready and looks bad, or you take player X. You can just name the quarterback who go into like the really bad situations, and then they just fall apart because we want them. If they draft McCarthy, he's going to be on the hot seat if they don't make the playoffs in year 3. That's
I
the problem,
I
in my
think
opinion.
I think it's very easy to just say that they need to build around because here's who do you because this league is so
Whoever's the
quarterback
highest on
driven.
my draft board.
Like
If
this
I have
is
Marvin Harrison the highest, I take Marvin. If I have
like
Dallas
take
Turner highest, I'm taking Dallas Turner.
yeah, but like
Really
take
that
the
simple.
Niners for example. We can use our same
Mm-hmm.
example. They didn't
Exactly.
they got to the Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
it was honestly a lot of luck that went into them getting to the Super Bowl. The game against the Packers was very lucky where they got like that late
Which game are we talking
turnover.
about? Which season? Because they go a lot.
The first year they went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy
With
G.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just saying though, I'm just saying to get to where you need to go, it's not just all about oh I have the best players and we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that easy. It's not like Madden, and even Madden's not like that. But like I think that this league is so QB driven that having a quarterback is very important to your overall team building and collectively people wanting to go to your team to try to win games. Because if your team doesn't have a
Does that really
quarterback,
happen? Serious question. Does that I know it sounds cute, but does it really happen?
what really happens?
Like AJ Brown was had a contract dispute, and he ended up going with his friend Jalen Hurts type deal. Um, that's the only name I can think of. Like uh, Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, the first time from the Ravens when he got traded. Him and Kyler were apparently friends, so he wanted to go
Yeah,
there.
but okay.
You
Even
know,
that.
it's not they're not
Let's
they weren't
pause there. Let's
finding
pause
who's
there.
who's the star quarterbacks.
The Cardinals were coming back from the playoffs. That was off a playoff year. They like Harbaugh Brown joined
I
that
know
team.
I
So
100%
it's not like the
understand.
team
But what I'm saying
was
is, it's
like
not like they're
2-4,
going.
2-15.
Who's the best quarterback in the league? Who's the second quarterback in the league? Who's the third? Like,
But Kyler Murray is a franchise quarterback though. Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback.
I can agree with that.
So that's what I'm saying, and that's who players are attracted to go towards. Like you're not gonna go to a team. I mean, obviously there are players
So
that
you
go
think
to.
JJ McCarthy can be or is
I
now
I think
a
I
franchise
think
quarterback? He's Kyler
I
Murray,
think
like not as a player, but
I
he's
think the I
Kyler
think
Murray.
the
We know he's their franchise quarterback type deal.
I think
Jalen Hurts, we
the
know. I'm not saying the skill level. I'm just saying he's their franchise.
I think the overall consensus on Kyler Murray when it comes to NFL GMs, NFL personnel, NFL
McCarthy.
scouts versus
Okay.
just fans is totally a 360. Like legit, like GMs, personnel people think that McCarthy is a top 3 quarterback in this draft. Like they do, they
They
just
also got
do.
Mac Jones. Keep that in mind. I just want to be known. They also thought Mac Jones was too. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but Mac Jones in a situation he could have
They
flourished.
thought
Like if you
they
went to the
thought Mac Jones.
Niners, we don't know what Mac Jones would have been.
We have no clue. And that's
The
my thing, Joseph. You're saying this. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. Then
no, I'm not. I'm just
if
saying
the
that
the
you need
Patriots
to have a
drafted Mac
quarterback.
Jones, you just said it. You said if Mac Jones went to the Niners, he would have had a different career. We're putting Mac Jones
Yeah,
in a terrible situation. You're
but
doing the same thing,
I
McCarthy. If he
also
goes
think
there,
that JJ
you're
McCarthy is a
saying what
lot.
I'm saying.
I also think that McCarthy is a lot better than Mac Jones. Like a lot better coming out of college. Like he is like 10 times better than Mac Jones was. And listen, I don't care about being wrong about my projections on these guys. Like
It's just interesting.
I don't. Because okay, here's my question for you. Then we can
It's just
wrap this up.
we differ with
What are
roster
you?
building.
No, yeah, we do. But like, I think
Yeah,
what quarterback? Okay, how many players in this draft do you really like? Because this draft
I like
is
a lot of
very
guys.
deep. Well, it doesn't seem like it. Like, every guy we bring up, it seems like
No, that's what I'm saying.
you
I
don't
like a
like
lot of
them.
guys.
So who do you like
No,
though?
like I just don't like the idea of reaching. I like value. Value is awesome to me.
So okay, at this
So
three pick,
if
you're
I'm at
saying that they
three,
should get Marvin
and I'm
Harrison,
the Patriots, if I have the
but
Patriots,
with no
we have,
quarterback.
in all seriousness, right? If you're the offensive coordinator right now with the Patriots, you have no clue who's playing anywhere other than maybe running back. You like that's my problem. And then we play a quarterback. It's like cool. We draft a quarterback, and we have no clue where anybody else is playing. That's what I'm saying. If you
Yeah, but
draft,
you have your
if
most
you
important
draft
position.
but yeah, but right, they went out in free agency and they got Brissett, right? So you can have him. If there's value that comes that's better than him, great, slide him out. But I don't think going from Brissett to McCarthy takes me. I don't think it takes me anywhere really. I think they're interchangeable,
So you're saying
which is fine. If I
so
have the rest of the roster filled out, but let me tell you this: if I have Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison at the top of my board, I can say, boom, that's there. And I have Jacoby in that. Like that means a lot more than me. And now second round comes around, I can again look at my board. Maybe a McCarthy falls because teams are doing what I'm doing. They're drafting the way you should put them versus what the idea of what my fans want. And then or might be a pass rush, offensive line. Draft the best player available. And that's how you build a roster. Like the reaching stuff, like the Raiders reach every year, and where does that get them? Like that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's
The
like it
Cowboys,
doesn't.
the Cowboys draft BPA
They
every
don't. The
year.
Cowboys. The
No, the
Cowboys
Cowboys
draft best
draft.
player available,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Where does that
and they
leave
have the
them?
best. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL.
Yeah, but
Every year they
has a
have
guy
one of the
has
best rosters in the
okay. To your
NFL.
point though, has it gotten them a Super
You're
Bowl?
not.
No.
Everyone's not.
Then
What did
it
I
doesn't
tell you?
matter.
What did I say? Not everyone's going to win the Super Bowl. There's only one team that's going to win.
Okay,
My
but
job as I'll tell you this.
the teams that have won a
No,
Super Bowl, how many of the quarterbacks in the past 5 years have been a first round pick?
it's really just Mahomes, right? Like
Mahomes,
Stafford.
Stafford. Those are the, only two quarterbacks besides Brady. Brady, but
Yeah, and like
he's
that's you see what I'm
he's
saying?
an enigma.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's not like multiple guys are winning all these Super Bowls from like
So you would never draft a
without strong
quarterback first round.
rosters.
Like even if you're the okay, you're the
It
Bears.
depends. It
Are you drafting
depends.
Caleb Williams?
If I'm doing my if I was the Bears, I honestly would have
Because the
kept
Bears
Fields.
have
I
the
would have
Bears
kept
have
Fields and would have
Bears have a lot of missing
I
holes
would
as
have
well.
because again, I don't think if you ask me, I don't think Fields is here and any of the quarterbacks in this draft are so much better. That's just for me. If I thought that one of them were, yeah, you do what they did and trade Fields out and you draft the quarterback and go off your board. And I'm saying the same thing for McCarthy. If they think McCarthy is the best player, if third best player in the draft overall, take him. I don't think that. And if you say Zach, if you were the Bears, I didn't have Caleb number one at the time. I had Marvin Harrison, so I would have taken Marvin Harrison, and I would have happily had Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, still traded for Keenan Allen and Justin Fields, and that's a super team. Like I'm like, all right, that's who I'm coming up with. Like, who are you guys got? And then if Fields doesn't, if he crashes and burns, all right, we gave him a chance. He has all these weapons. Now we're a quarterback away from really competing. And then now I can take whoever the top quarterback is at the time. I make a lot of sense. I know.
No, I just think that you should draft a quarterback first. That's just my opinion. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
And I think that a quarterback is your most prominent position. Like it just is, in my opinion. Like you cannot win games without a quarterback. Like obviously you can win 3 or 4 or 5 games, maybe even 7 games. Just mediocre play. We saw the Colts go almost
the Steelers
make the playoffs.
The Steelers are a perfect example.
Made the playoffs, but just below average quarterback. So it can be done. But I do think that if the Steelers, let's use Steelers as an example, if they had a top pick, they are a quarterback away. I think like they're a team that's a quarterback away. So we'll see this year whether or not Russell Wilson is going to be the guy.
Like,
I mean I see what you're saying. I don't disagree. I don't agree with it. I think we just have two different opinions in terms of how to build.
Yeah, because like the Steelers are the perfect example. Like they have a great roster, and then in that draft they took Kenny Trash Pickett, and who? Let's see. The next pick after Kenny Pickett was Trent McDuffie. Do you think they could use a corner right now?
I don't think so. I mean, they got.
I mean, where's their hole? What's their hole?
The Steelers' hole? I think it's just their. I mean, maybe you could say, I don't know. I don't think they have a hole on defense.
Go ahead, say tackle. Tyler Smith, center. Tyler Linderbaum.
Like they have one of the best O lines in the league.
No, I'm just saying, like you just pick the position and like. All these guys are better than Kenny Pickett. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess that's true in terms of just like looking at it from hindsight. But I think just
we're going to do this year. We're going to do this
we are. Like we're going to see. Hey,
2026. We're going to be looking at this draft the same way.
Is Jason McCarthy going to be a guy that turns around a franchise? Is Zachary going to be wrong, or is he going to be right? Like, because I think this is, obviously where the opinions differ with us in terms of McCarthy being, better than,
I hope he's good. I really do. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't think that. I just don't think that McCarthy was given the chance, like a Jaden McDaniels or even Drake May, to show out his full talent because of his sacrifice for the team. Because McCarthy could have easily entered the transfer portal and went to a pass first team and just, put up 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Unless he can't do it.
He okay. But he could have done that. But he decided to make a sacrifice for the team. And that's what you got to do as a franchise leading quarterback. That's the biggest thing you got to do. Make sacrifices for your teammates, for your coaches, for spending time away from your family, stuff like that. That is required to be a franchise leading player. So when you look at it like that, I think that's where I like McCarthy a lot, because he's already shown that he can make sacrifices. He's shown in game, off the field, that he can make the sacrifices to get to the point where his team ultimately wins the championship. And like skill set, I mean, obviously he's not the biggest guy, doesn't have the strongest arm, not the most accurate guy. Like I know that. Like, I'm not saying that he is better than Caleb Williams at all. Talent wise, I would say McCarthy's probably fifth. Like, I would say Drake May is more talented than McCarthy. But when it comes to those intangibles that are hard to find in this day and age, it just really is. Like, to find a guy that can have the same mentality. I'm not comparing McCarthy to Mahomes, but that's where you got to kind of find a quarterback.
No, I think you compare him to Purdy, Brock Purdy.
Well,
he was drafted in the 7th round.
I'm just saying though. I don't think he's a Purdy type. Because
give me a comp.
I don't like doing player comp. I don't. But if you want me to give you a comp in terms of what McCarthy is in this league, I'd probably say
Mac Jones.
I mean, I'd probably say a guy like I'd probably say young Russell Wilson. Honestly,
3rd round pick.
But
I love it.
Russell Wilson was a superstar.
I'm okay with that. That's what I'm talking about.
He didn't win a national championship.
Coming to a system. Yeah, he played at NC State in Wisconsin. Way less talented rosters. They don't have the NIL money.
Michigan hadn't won a national championship in 20 years, Zachary. 25 years.
I understand. And Wisconsin hasn't won what?
I don't know if they ever won. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the same boat to me.
No, from running backs.
But I just think that,
I've seen
those intangibles.
That's why.
But
that's why I love comps though, because comps they give me an idea, right? It's like, okay, this guy, I think it's fair.
That,
say he's Russell Wilson. I'm totally okay. But then what people forget is this guy was drafted in the 3rd round.
Okay,
you're drafting this guy at the 1st round.
Let's use Josh Allen. Let's use Josh Allen for an example. People were comparing this guy out of college to what's his name? He's not in the league anymore. But they were comparing him to this guy, forget his name. Because forget the guy's name. But anyways,
was he a guy drafted later? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't Nathan Peterman. It was someone like Nathan Peterman. Like, they were comparing him to a guy like that coming out of college because of his film on college. And even Brock Purdy, like, his film on college is the reason why he was a 7th round pick. Like, McCarthy's film on college, I'm telling you, man, if you just watch the games and watch the throws that he makes laser throws. And he does
10 throws he makes a game, guys.
So, I don't know. I mean, that's good for me. I have a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of gas on his arm. So, I guess
he won't try throws.
What do you mean?
He won't try throws, right?
I cannot wait for McCarthy to show
like
up.
Josh Allen. We're talking about Josh Allen earlier.
I really hope McCarthy goes to the Vikings.
He should have taken the check down.
I really hope.
Because he had the check down for the 1st down. Josh Allen, right? He threw a touchdown. JJ McCarthy knows I don't have the arm to get it there, so let me do the check down.
He doesn't have the arm to get it there, though.
Oh my God, he does not. You know what?
I really hope I can. We need to fast forward to September and October, because I'm telling you, McCarthy's gonna. We're gonna have a McCarthy where Zach was wrong segment, and we're gonna go back
where
to
Zachary was wrong.
Yeah, and we're gonna go back to the day, and we're gonna talk about McCarthy.
The Texans are gonna win 0 games. That's my favorite.
I mean, yeah, that was. Yeah, you said the Chiefs are gonna go 17-0. I mean, 20-0.
Hey,
so I mean,
Hey, dude, he was compared to Ben Roethlisberger and Kyle Bowler.
Kyle Bowler, that was his name, but Kyle Bowler was the 1st round pick, I think, right? Kyle Bowler coming out of Cal, he was the 1st round pick. So I guess maybe it wasn't a late round pick.
So was Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Big Ben was. Well, I know Big Ben was, obviously, but I'm just saying Kyle Bowler because he's a name that's not Big Ben, and he's just a name that he won a couple games for the Ravens and whatnot. But yeah, Kyle Bowler, that was the guy I was trying to think. I just couldn't think of his name.
Interesting.
But yeah, but Josh Allen, he wasn't the best. I mean, he the same stuff he's doing right now in the league, he was doing that.
Someone compared him to Jake Locker.
Jake Locker, really?
NFL exec compared him to Jack. Yeah,
well, Jake Locker was a 1st round pick.
Exactly. That's
I
what I'm
think
saying,
I think he
man.
was the top 10 pick. I think it was like number 8 pick
I think
overall
he
for the
was. I think it was
Titans.
like right, something
Like
like
number
that.
9, something
And
like
then
that.
Paxton Lynch, another first round pick.
Paxton. Well, okay. Listen, I don't think that McCarthy's. I think McCarthy's going to be the best quarterback one of the best quarterbacks. He's going to have probably the best career.
What are people saying about McCarthy now? I
Okay,
don't know.
maybe Caleb Williams, but I think Caleb Williams is going to have obviously. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a
He's the
top
guy.
5. Yeah, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback straight off the bat. Like I just think he is. Um, I think McCarthy has the chance to be a franchise leading quarterback now. And then we're kind of going off topic in terms of AFC East. We're done with that, but there's been a lot of reports with I guess the Kevin O'Connell system is really hard to learn. Did you see there was a report that the guy from PFF that does a show with Chris Sims, what's his name? Forget the guy's name. Anyways, there was a report that he said that that there was an insider that said that whatever quarterback the Vikings get, they want someone that is very smart and that has ran an NFL style offense in college. That's why they like McCarthy a lot, because he's
Yeah.
ran the Harbaugh offense for the past 3 seasons. And they want a guy like that. So
See, this guy compared J.D. McCarthy to Alex Smith. If you think he's Alex Smith, he was number 1 overall.
Alex
You see
Smith,
what I'm
I
saying?
like
I'm
that. I
fine with
like
that.
that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's actually a good
If
comparison.
that's the case.
I think his arm is a lot stronger than Alex Smith, though. I think
But I
Alex
think
Smith
we could see
his arm is
I
strong.
think the cool thing though to notice, if you had to do it again, would you draft Alex Smith number 1 overall?
I mean, he went to a bad situation. I will say that.
I can give that to you.
Who was his coach? Was it Steve Mariucci or was it what's his name? No, it wasn't Mike Singletary. Wasn't Mike
I
Singletary?
just remember McCarthy was an assistant. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
But anyways, I
I'm
think that
not a Niner fan, so I don't.
I think I'm
Let's
not.
see.
I wasn't a Niner fan back then, but I just think that even with a guy like Penix, like right, even with Penix, there is a higher upside on Penix than I think any other quarterback in this draft, just because of where he's being drafted at, like, or projected to be drafted at. You know, like you're saying, like, hey, like if you actually need a quarterback, why not just draft a guy like Penix in round in like the 20th pick, like in that range, right? You're saying like Patriots can, maybe trade down, right? Recoup some picks, get a late 20 pick, get a pick in the 20s, and then draft a guy like Penix if they're going to have a quarterback. Is that what you're saying? Are you more like, are you more saying like, hey, don't even draft a quarterback because you guys are a bad team? Because I really want to understand why you're so anti-quarterback first round.
No, if Penix is no, all I'm saying if you like I like the Alex Smith comparison because I'm like if you think Alex Smith was the number 1 player on the board, that's the comp, and you think McCarthy's your number 3 player on the board, all right, fine, do it because he's the best player available. If you think he's the 30th ranked player, why draft him at number 3? I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I understand the importance that we put on the quarterbacks, but with that in mind, just know you're hurting yourself more than you're helping. What I mean by that is you're going to overpay for someone like Daniel Jones, and then you're like stuck. Like you're like, what the heck am I doing? But you value the quarterback. The quarterback it's most important to have that position. Who cares if you lose to Saquon Barkley? Or, who cares if you got no receivers? Like you got your quarterback straight. And I think that's what I'm saying. So Penix, to your point, if he's your 20th best player, and you can trade down, accumulate more picks, and then draft him, and maybe you have a McCarthy 17 and him 20, and the person who has the 20th pick, now you have a choice. And I just feel like it brings more value. It's like, okay, now I'm taking McCarthy at 20 when he's my 17th player versus taking him at 3 when he's my 7th. Because I'll tell you this, as a Raider fan, back when I was they drafted the dude who got in the accident.
Russell.
RIP.
Henry Ruggs.
No, it was the cornerback from Houston.
You're talking about
he passed away now. DJ Hayden.
Hayden.
They drafted Hayden, right? They drafted him at 10, but they would have drafted him at 3, but they knew that their draft board meant totally something else, and it was a good move. Because why draft a guy at 3 when you can darn sure get him at 10? Now, it was a bad pick still, But I'm just saying the value. I'm just talking about in terms of just value.
Yeah, okay, but to kind of counter that, we've
Hmm.
seen guys fall in the draft and
Hmm.
become
Hmm.
Hall of Famers because players
Hmm.
they didn't have the prototype, skill set, or guys like Aaron Rodgers, guy like Lamar Jackson, guys who if we look back on it, they would have been a top 5 pick. Obviously
Yeah,
if we think
Lamar
back
is a
on it.
good one. Yeah,
So I always go back to that because I don't think the Ravens weren't in a. I mean, they were trying to find a successor for Flacco, but Flacco wasn't done. Like he wasn't like on his.
he was him
He
and
was
Harbaugh. Him and
yeah
Harbaugh's
okay
time was coming to an end,
yeah,
and
but
then
it
Lamar
was
saved. Let's be real, Lamar
no.
saved
I
Harbaugh's
know, I
career,
know, but
which
I'm
is
just
cool.
saying
It's
like if they didn't. What I'm saying is if they didn't draft Lamar Jackson, Flacco would have still been the quarterback for probably the next 2 or 3 seasons, right? And
yeah,
and they would have been 8-8.
8, 9 win
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So when I look at it like that from that perspective, I'm like I can't pass up on a guy if I think that he is that guy because I've seen many teams make that mistake of passing on a guy. What the heck? The guy on your freaking wall saver, screensaver, freaking Patrick Mahomes. I, like he
hmm.
fell in the
Hmm.
draft, and teams are regretting the decision. Like every day, like they're regretting that they didn't draft him
But
first
that's
overall.
but that's not necessarily
It's the
a
same thing because
value
quarterbacks
piece,
went over.
right?
It is. It is.
Well, no,
It is
because
value.
Mitch Trubisky was drafted ahead of him, right?
Yeah, I mean that's more evaluating. But I'm just
So what I'm
saying
saying
though.
is the Bears had Trubisky ranked higher than Mahomes. That's not really fitting here.
No, it does fit because it's a
That's just
quarterback.
an
It's a
evaluation
quarterback
miss.
position, and obviously, no, it is a valuation miss. But
Because if
you don't
McCarthy
think
goes,
that
what you would be suggesting is McCarthy goes 3, and then there's another quarterback
Michael
who's
Penix
well after. Penix is drafted 20, is drafted 11, and then or
and
13,
and then Penix
whatever it
becomes a
was.
Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yeah, and it's like that's with that comp, and it's like I don't think it's gonna happen. But
No, me
I would
neither.
look
I
back and be
don't.
like, dude,
I
you
don't
gotta,
either. But I'm just saying. Using yeah, I agree what you're saying.
yeah,
I do think that the examples that I'm giving are kind of precise in terms of what I'm saying, which is
of course you do. Yeah,
draft your guy. At the end of the day, if you trust a guy, you go with it. And obviously,
can,
team
can I ask you,
trusted
can I ask you a
Trubisky
question?
over Mahomes. Yeah,
Can I ask you a question? Do you have any uh like ranking type where it's like what for me? If you say Zachary, if I'm going to draft on my board, the way I hopefully, I know it doesn't always pan out and probably never pans out, right? But top 10, I want to draft a Hall of Fame player. Like that would be my goal. And I think those are
yeah,
lofty. With knowing that, those are lofty expectations to put on someone who is like the 20th best player in the draft because I'm setting him up in a sense where my fan base is going to say, "Hey, you were drafted in a position that's Hall of Fame status. Like we that's what we expect. You're a high pick. Think of someone like Zach Wilson who fits this. If the Jets drafted Zach Wilson at 20 something, it looks totally different than them drafting him at 2 overall. And he hasn't even had like a decent career. It's been really bad.
yeah,
And that's what I'm saying. It's like those expectations, I feel like, but if you think McCarthy is, like if you think McCarthy is a
a
Hall
Hall of
of
Fame
Fame
guy.
talent, go for it and prove everyone wrong. And hopefully the Vikings or who we said the Patriots get that pick, they can turn that around because I think the NFL is better when teams go to Foxborough and play in January. Like it's just something about it over
Yeah,
the years.
I
It's yeah.
agree, and honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with Brady and Belichick. I
Oh, of
think,
course, yeah,
but I think if
for
if they
sure.
can find a guy that can, I think it kind of fits the picture. I think it fits the glove. Like Michigan guy, Brady was a Michigan guy. Started of a new era, kind of like Belichick was only there for like 3 seasons, I think. Before they got Brady. I think Belichick got there in 97, 98. I want to say, or maybe no, he got there like 96, maybe. I think. Anyways, Jared Mayo starting his first year off doesn't have quarterback though. Obviously different. They don't have Drew Bledsoe, and they are in a position where they need somebody that can kind of reflect what they want their future, organization to look like. And all the intangible things I mentioned about McCarthy, I think that's the type of guy that can lead a franchise. You don't want a guy
That's fair.
that is going to be a team where the team had no success, like a guy like Drake May, where obviously guys like playing with them, but you don't really hear guys saying a lot of positive stuff about Drake May. Like you just don't. But McCarthy, everybody raves about him. He's the type of guy that he's gonna go out there and do what is right for not only himself but his teammates. So I think, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff besides talent that goes into being a great quarterback, and I think that's why Brock Purdy is doing so good. I think that's why a guy like Mahomes is doing so good. Like Mahomes is not only a good quarterback, but he's a great person off the field. He's always trying to bring his guys together. Like there's not a lot of quarterbacks that like look at Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson, he rarely works out with his receivers during the offseason. He just started doing it this year and with Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham. But usually Lamar Jackson working out by himself. And we've seen Lamar Jackson shortcomings happen in the playoffs where he can't pass the ball, right? Josh Allen is another guy who works out a lot with his receivers in the offseason. And he's a guy that is successful in the postseason. I'm talking just statistically, just off of stats. I'm just saying stats. So I do think that there's a correlation, and there are things that you want in a quarterback that talent is going to that are going to supersede talent. It just is for me. I think Jaden Daniels is another guy that his teammates love playing with him. He's a leader off the field. So I think I don't know. Caleb Williams, same thing. I think he's in that criteria. To me, I think there's 3 franchise quarterbacks in this draft, and I think that's McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. Obviously, I think the rest of the guys, I just don't see anything happening with them. And I've been proven wrong before. I said that freaking what's that guy's name? Davis Webb was going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. So I mean, listen, I don't mind being wrong. But what I will say is that we gotta pump the brakes on McCarthy. All right. I just think that I'm telling you, man, you gotta go watch his games. They could be boring, but watch the games. Watch them against Ohio State. I'm trying to make you a believer. Because you saw Neighbors, you saw Neighbors Pro Day. You had Marvin Harrison on number 1, and then Neighbors Pro Day happens, and you're like, oh, I kind of like Neighbors now.
I told you I was watching Neighbors highlights at like 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, dude, this guy's pretty explosive again. Like I saw, but then I watched a lot of LSU because they're on TV a lot out here.
Yeah.
And you saw it during the games, but then looking back on it, it's like this guy's pretty good. But I mean, I think both those guys, Marvin Harrison and Neighbors, are going to be excellent players.
I don't think anybody's going to go wrong with either one. I think the media is trying to make
Hall of Fame. I think Hall of Fame.
I think both of them are Hall of Fame guys. That's why, and in Omega, I'm drafting both of them for the first and second pick overall. Like, I don't even care about drafting a quarterback in that league. Like I just you get your receivers.
Quarterback is the most important position.
Yeah, you say that. And then you have Mahomes get 14 points in back-to-back games in the playoffs. So, and then freaking Joe
They're coming to my side.
Joe wins with Joe Flacco. Like quarterbacks.
That happened.
So like quarterbacks are not needed in fantasy football. But that's another day for another topic. You have any last words on the quarterbacks, or we're good?
No, I think this is a good combo. Yeah, we're getting closer to the draft. What's the next division we're going after?
I have us going with the AFC North. I think that's a fun division.
The toughest one.
Obviously, I think it's a tough division. And then the AFC South, and then we'll go to the NFC side. But yeah, I like these. We'll be a little bit better organized next time in terms of the pick selections and whatnot, like we kind of did the first time around. I think we did good. For
let's just go in order of the draft.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I went backwards this time around, and it just wasn't the same. All right, guys. Well, until next time, have a good weekend. Happy Easter to everybody.